If you want to know the absolute truth about what is hiding inside the food on your supermarket shelf, do not ask the smiling nutritionist on morning television. Ask the food scientists who formulate the recipes. Ask the lab technicians who design the flavor profiles in industrial parks outside Manchester and Rotterdam. These people spend their careers engineering products that hijack your brain chemistry, and if you sat them down off the record and asked them what they feed their own children, you would notice a striking pattern. Their kitchens do not contain the products they helped create. They know exactly which ingredients are mathematically guaranteed to make you fatter, sicker, and more addicted with every bite. Today we are opening that blacklist. These are the 7 specific ingredients that nutritionists, food scientists, and independent researchers have exposed as the worst offenders hiding in plain sight on European shelves. And the industry is spending millions to make sure you never read the label closely enough to notice. Number 1 on the blacklist, high fructose glucose syrup. In America, they call it high fructose corn syrup. In Europe, the industry rebranded it. You will see it listed as glucose fructose syrup, isoglucose, or sometimes just fructose glucose syrup. The name changes, but the chemistry does not. Here is what makes it dangerous. When you eat normal table sugar, your body processes the glucose and the fructose together. Your liver handles a manageable load. But high fructose glucose syrup delivers a concentrated blast of free fructose directly to the liver in a way that whole sugar does not. Your liver treats it almost identically to alcohol. It converts the excess fructose straight into fat, wraps it around your organs, and floods your bloodstream with triglycerides. It is a metabolic grenade. Until 2017, the European Union had strict production quotas limiting this substance. The sugar lobby fought those quotas for decades. They won. The quotas were lifted, and since then, high fructose glucose syrup has been quietly flooding into processed foods across Europe. You will find it in supermarket bread. You will find it in yogurt marketed to children. You will find it in so-called health bars wrapped in green packaging with pictures of leaves on the front. They are selling you liver damage disguised as a snack. Number 2, palm oil. Walk down the biscuit aisle in any Tesco, Carrefour, or Aldi and pick up almost any packet. Flip it over. You will see palm oil listed in the first 3 ingredients. Manufacturers love palm oil because it is the cheapest fat on earth, and it gives products a creamy, smooth texture that consumers associate with quality. But here is the engineering crime. When palm oil is refined at high temperatures, which it almost always is for processed food, it produces substances called glycidyl fatty acid esters. When you digest them, your body converts them into glycidol, a compound that the European Food Safety Authority has classified as genotoxic and carcinogenic. That means it damages your DNA. This is not a fringe theory. EFSA published a comprehensive risk assessment and specifically warned about the exposure levels in infant formula and children's biscuits. The industry response was not to remove palm oil. It was to lobby for higher acceptable limits. They did not fix the product, they moved the goalposts. Number 3, titanium dioxide. This one was so dangerous that the EU actually banned it from food in 2022. But here is what they do not tell you. The ban applies to food sold inside the European Union. It does not apply to supplements, medicines, or products imported through certain loopholes. And in the United Kingdom, which is no longer bound by EU food regulations, titanium dioxide is still perfectly legal. You will find it listed as E171 on the label. It is a whitening agent. It makes chewing gum whiter. It makes icing brighter. It makes cheap sweets look more appealing to children. French researchers published a major study showing that when rats consumed titanium dioxide nanoparticles, they developed precancerous lesions in the colon. The particles are so small, they cross the gut barrier and accumulate in organs. The EU looked at the evidence and said, this substance can no longer be considered safe. The UK looked at the same evidence and said, carry on. If you live in Britain and you are buying sweets, toothpaste, or supplements with E171 on the label, you are consuming a substance that 27 European nations decided was too dangerous to eat. Number 4, artificial azo dyes. These are the synthetic petroleum-based colors that make cheap food look expensive. Sunset yellow, tartrazine, allura red, carmazine, quinoline yellow, ponceau 4R. In Europe, any product containing these dyes is legally required to carry a warning label that reads, "May have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children." Read that again. The European Parliament forced manufacturers to print a warning on their own product telling you it may damage your child's brain. And what did the industry do? They did not remove the dyes. They put the warning in the smallest legally permitted font on the back of the packet where no parent will ever read it. A researcher at the University of Southampton conducted the landmark study that triggered this regulation. The findings showed a clear link between these dyes and hyperactivity in children. These are not nutrients. These are not preservatives. They serve zero functional purpose in the food. They exist purely to make a product look more vibrant on a shelf. They are painting your child's food with petroleum derivatives for cosmetic reasons. Number 5, modified starches with phosphate additives. This one hides behind the most innocent sounding names. Modified maize starch, modified tapioca starch. They sound natural. They sound like someone simply adjusted a plant. But many of these starches are cross-linked using phosphate compounds. And phosphate is the silent destroyer that almost nobody talks about. Excess dietary phosphate pulls calcium directly out of your bones. It calcifies your arteries. It accelerates kidney disease. A German nephrology study found that high phosphate intake from processed foods was independently associated with increased cardiovascular mortality. You will find modified phosphate starches in processed cheese, chicken nuggets, frozen ready meals, sandwich fillings, and cheap sausages. They are bulking agents. They make watery food feel thick and premium in your mouth. They are engineering a mouthfeel that tricks you into thinking you are eating real food while quietly calcifying your cardiovascular system. Number 6, seed oils marketed as heart healthy. Rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil. For decades, European dietary guidelines told you to replace butter and animal fat with these industrial seed oils because they lower LDL cholesterol on a blood test. But here is what they did not tell you. These oils are extracted using chemical solvents, heated to extreme temperatures, and deodorized with industrial processes that would make a petrochemical engineer feel right at home. When you cook with these oils at high heat, which is exactly what every home cook does, they oxidize. They produce compounds called aldehydes, which are reactive molecules that damage cellular membranes and promote chronic inflammation. A research team at De Montfort University in Leicester heated common cooking oils and measured the aldehyde output. Sunflower oil produced aldehyde levels multiple times higher than what international safety bodies consider acceptable. Meanwhile, the fats your grandmother used, butter, lard, beef dripping, and olive oil, remained stable under heat and produced minimal toxic byproducts. The industry convinced an entire continent to abandon stable traditional fats and replace them with chemically extracted, heat-unstable industrial lubricants. And they put a heart logo on the bottle. Number 7, ultra-processed protein products. This is the newest and most sophisticated trap. Walk into any health food shop in London, Berlin, or Amsterdam, and you will see shelves full of protein bars, protein shakes, protein yogurts, and protein-enriched everything. They are wrapped in black packaging with muscular typography and claims about lean lifestyle and clean nutrition. Flip them over. You will find a cocktail of maltitol, sucralose, polydextrose, cellulose gum, soy protein isolate, and artificial flavoring blended together in a laboratory to simulate the experience of eating real food. A large-scale French cohort study tracked over 100,000 adults and found that every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption was associated with a significant increase in overall cancer risk. These protein products are not health food. They are confectionery with a marketing degree. Here is the verdict. The modern European food industry operates on one principle. If you cannot read the label, you cannot reject the product. Every ingredient on this list is legal. Every ingredient on this list is hiding inside products that carry health claims on the front of the packet. The regulatory system is not protecting you, it is protecting the profit margin. Your only weapon is the ingredient list on the back. Read it. If you see glucose fructose syrup, put it back. If you see palm oil in your child's biscuits, put it back. If you see E numbers you cannot pronounce, put it back. Buy the food with 5 ingredients or fewer. Buy food that does not need a marketing department to convince you it is safe. Buy the food your great-grandmother would recognize. Stop eating the label. Start reading it. If you want to know which supermarket brands failed our full investigation, watch the next one.